Hi everyone, in this tutorial I'll show you how to crochet this simple top in a size extra small. For the materials I used a little over 200 grams of DK weight yarn. This yarn is a blend of different materials like cotton, polyester, acrylic, and wool. I also started with a 5mm crochet hook but switched to a 4mm as it worked better with the yarn. You'll also need a yarn needle, 8 stitch markers or safety pins, and a pair of scissors. To start the project, we'll create a slip knot, and you can do this any way that you prefer. Grab your crochet hook and insert it into the knot. And we're going to start by chaining 88. To chain, we'll yarn over and pull the loop through our hook, yarn over and pull the loop through the hook. You'll repeat this process until you have 88 chains. Once you have 88 chains, we're going to slip stitch into the first chain to create a ring. To slip stitch, I'm picking up 2 loops like this. Then I'll yarn over and pull through all the loops on our hook. And you want to make sure that the yoke is not twisted. Once you have your yoke, to start the first round, we're going to create a no turning chain. To create a no turning chain, we're going to pull up a loop, roughly the height of a double crochet. So pull your hook up. Then we'll position our crochet hook underneath that loop, like this. And then what you'll do is yarn over and pull up a loop underneath the loop like this. Then we'll yarn over and pull through both loops on the hook. And what this will do is help remove the visible seam at the back of the top. So now we're going to double crochet into the next stitch, which is right here. To double crochet, we're going to yarn over, insert the crochet hook into that next chain, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Then we'll double crochet into the next 7 chains. You should have 9 stitches in total, including the no turning chain. Place 2 double crochets in the same stitch. And now you're going to place a stitch marker into the second double crochet. Double crochet in the next 9 stitches. Then place 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And place a stitch marker in the second double crochet. Then we'll double crochet into the next 13 chains. Place 2 double crochets into the next chain. Then grab a stitch marker and place it on top of the second double crochet. You're now going to repeat the pattern of double crochet into the next 9 chains and then place 2 double crochets into the next chain and a stitch marker on top of that second double crochet for a total of 3 times. So I finished up 9 double crochets, and in the next chain I'm going to do 2 double crochets into the same stitch. And I'll place a stitch marker on top of the second double crochet. And we're going to repeat this pattern 2 more times. Once you finish that pattern 2 times, we're going to double crochet into the next 13 chains. Then place 2 double crochets into the next stitch. And a stitch marker on top of the second double crochet. Double crochet into the next 9 chains. Place 2 double crochets into the last chain of the round. And put a stitch marker on top of that second double crochet. Then slip stitch to the top of the no turning chain. So pick up 2 loops, yarn over, and pull through all the loops on your hook. At the end of the round, you should have 96 stitches. To begin the next round, we're going to do a no turning chain. And we'll place 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach the stitch marker. So we'll yarn over and insert into the first stitch, picking up 2 loops, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Repeat doing 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach the stitch marker. When you're at the stitch with the stitch marker, remove the marker and place 2 double crochets into the same stitch. So we'll yarn over and insert our first double crochet, and yarn over, insert our second double crochet. And we'll place the stitch marker back into the second double crochet. We're going to repeat this pattern until the end of the round, so when you reach each stitch marker, you'll remove it and do 2 double crochets into that same stitch to increase, and we'll do this all the way around. I'm approaching the end of the round and I have 1 increase left. So at that final stitch marker, I'm going to place 2 double crochets inside of that stitch. And I'll put the stitch marker back on top of the second double crochet. To end the round, we're going to slip stitch to the top of the no turning chain. At the end of the round, you should have 104 stitches, and this is what the yoke looks like. And we're going to be increasing the size of this yoke. We're going to repeat round 2 until we reach round 11 for a size extra small by doing 2 double crochets at each stitch marker. To start the next round, we'll do a no turning chain and repeat the pattern of double crochet in each stitch until you reach the stitch marker. And once again, at each stitch marker, you'll do 2 double crochets in that stitch and place the stitch marker back into the second double crochet. And this is what it should look like after 11 rounds. For a size extra small, you should have a total of 176 stitches at this point. And now we're going to do regular rounds. So first I'm going to remove the stitch markers as we no longer need them. And to start the next round, what we'll do is a no turning chain. And we're going to do 1 double crochet in each stitch all the way around. So I'm no longer increasing in this round, I'm just going to place a regular double crochet in every stitch until I reach the very end of the round. At the end of the round, we'll slip stitch to the top of the no turning chain. We're going to repeat this round 3 more times. So we'll start by doing a no turning chain, and then we'll do a double crochet in every stitch all the way around. And at the end of each round, we'll slip stitch to join, and then we'll start the next round the same way. After 3 rounds of double crochets, we're going to section off the sleeves in our top. I've placed stitch markers at 4 different points in my yoke. I've marked the 36th stitch, the 73rd stitch, 124th stitch, and 161st stitch. In the next round, we'll be connecting our sleeve holes. So to start, we'll do a no turning chain. We'll place 1 double crochet into each stitch until you reach the first stitch marker. When you reach the stitch with the stitch marker, go ahead and remove that marker and place 1 double crochet into that stitch. Then we're going to connect our sleeve hole. To connect the sleeve hole, we're going to skip over all these stitches and turn our work around and place 1 double crochet into the stitch with the stitch marker. This is what our first sleeve hole looks like, and now we're going to do 1 double crochet into each stitch until we reach the next stitch marker. At the next stitch marker, we'll remove that and work a double crochet inside of that stitch. Turn your work over and work a double crochet on the other side to connect the sleeve hole. So I'm going into that stitch with the stitch marker and working 1 double crochet. And now we're going to double crochet in each stitch until the end of the round. At the end of the round, slip stitch to the top of the no turning chain. For the next round, we're going to start working the body of our top. So I'm starting with a no turning chain, and we'll do a double crochet into each stitch until the end of the round. When you reach the sleeve holes, we'll do a normal double crochet like this and continue working as normal all the way around. At the end of the round, you should have 104 stitches, and we're going to slip stitch to the top of the no turning chain. And we're going to repeat this round until round 15. So here's what my shirt looks like after 15 rounds. When you're happy with the length, we can start the border. To start the border of the top, we'll chain 1. Place a single crochet in the first stitch. To single crochet, place your crochet hook inside of those 2 loops, then pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Again, we'll insert our crochet hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Repeat the pattern of 1 single crochet into each stitch until the end of the round. At the end of the round, we'll slip stitch to the chain 1 that we made in the beginning. For the final round of the top, we're going to work on the scalloped border. To start the scallops, we'll skip the first 2 stitches, and inside of that 3rd stitch, right here, we're going to place 5 double crochets into that stitch. Skip over the next stitch and place a slip stitch into that following stitch. Then we're going to skip 1 stitch and place 5 double crochets into the following stitch. We'll skip 1 stitch and place a slip stitch into the next stitch. So we'll repeat this pattern of skip 1 stitch, 5 double crochets into the next stitch, then skip 1 stitch, slip stitch until the end of the round. I'm almost at the end of the round. I've done my last scallop and I'm going to skip 1 stitch, then slip stitch, and instead of doing 1 more scallop, I'm going to skip another stitch and slip stitch into the following to close the round. Then we can chain 1 to fasten off. Take your scissors and snip off about this length of yarn. Then pull that yarn through to tighten. Now I'll show you how to add more length to your sleeves. First, we're going to make a slip knot to attach our yarn back to the project, and I'll place that onto my crochet hook and pull that through on the corner of the sleeve hole, and then you can tighten like this. Then we'll chain 1. And to make a clean border to work with, we're going to do a single crochet into each stitch around the sleeve hole. And there might not be perfect stitches to work into, so try your best to pick up 2 loops as you work your way around. At the end of the round, we can slip stitch to the top of our first chain. At this point, if you're okay with the size of the sleeve hole, then you can fasten off. But now what I'm going to do is increase the size of this so that it's more comfortable for my arms. I'll start by making a no turning chain. And in my first stitch, I'm going to do 2 double crochets. So I've done my first double crochet, and back in that same stitch, I'm going to place another double crochet stitch. I'm going to take my stitch marker and place it on top of that second double crochet. Then we're going to work 1 double crochet in each stitch until you reach the top corner of the sleeve hole. I've worked 1 double crochet into each stitch, and now I'm at the top corner of the sleeve. So about right here, I'm going to work 2 double crochets in the next stitch. And this will count as our second increase. So I'm going to place a stitch marker in that second double crochet, and we'll work 1 double crochet into each stitch until the end of the round. At the end of the round, we will slip stitch into the top of the no turning chain. And we're going to continue working an increase or 2 double crochets at each stitch marker until we're comfortable with the size of our sleeve hole. If you prefer to have simple clean sleeves for your top, then you can do a few more increase rounds and then fasten off, or you can choose to add the scallop border the same way we did to the bottom of the top. I've stopped increasing my sleeve after 2 rounds, and here's what it looks like. For my top, I decided to keep the clean sleeve look instead of adding a scalloped border. And when you're finished, we can fasten off, and you'll repeat the same pattern to increase the other sleeve. At the end of the project, we can weave in the loose ends, so I'm just taking my yarn needle and threading the loose strands through that and going into a few stitches to weave it into my work. And after going in a few times, you can tie a knot and trim off the excess yarn. And we'll repeat the same process for the sleeves. I really hope you had fun making this top, and if you enjoy my crochet content, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.